Kabbalah, Quabballah, Baba la. There's a lot of ways to spell Kabbalah. Well, it's Saturday morning cartoons, everyone, and I hope you're having a great weekend. I'm going to. First of all, I can't stop. I can't stop plugging. I'm a shameless self-promoter. This is out now, and if you've ordered it, pre-ordered it, it should be on your doorstep or within the next day or so. But Accidental Christ, this isn't the 2007 premature birth, self-published kind of version. It's considerably expanded, and so if you think you've already read this, you haven't. This is the new expanded edition, and it's much more satisfying as far as everybody said the other one ended too shortly. But anyway, it's from Llewellyn, and it's out right now. I would really appreciate, even if you don't intend to read it, I would really appreciate it if you buy it, because as we know, I've made no further provisions for my family's future. Anyway, and I'm going to talk more about it tomorrow. And I've got a big book launch at a local bookshop coming up on Thursday. If you're in the Sacramento area, stop in and I'll be able to sign and draw an obscene cartoon and everything on your. Anyway, briefly this morning for Saturday morning cartoons, I want to talk a little bit about Kabbalah. Most specifically, the big question most everybody asks, especially at first, is, well, what do you do with this Kabbalistic knowledge? What do you do with these exercises and stuff? Especially if you're a magician and want to do something practical with your magic. Well, first of all, Kabbalah isn't something that you immediately expect to do something with it. It's intended to mutate you. It's intended to squirt WD-40 into your soul in order that you may be able to naturally expand your consciousness enough to take the next spiritual step in your journey toward Godhead. So it's not, well, what did Kabbalah ever do for me? Well, mutate you, number one. But there are numerous exercises, and the ceremonial magician knows that in the construction and execution of a magical ceremony, elemental, planetary, literally, Kabbalistic, Enochian, whatever is attracting you to the field, the art of magic, is supported by, energized by, informed by the Kabbalah. So it's a good question. What's it going to do for me, man? I don't know. What does oxygen do for you? Okay. And my good friend, Anita Kraft, has put out a couple books, and this was the first in her series, Kabbalah Workbook for Magicians. Now, it's a workbook. It gives you stuff to do. In the same way that my chicken Kabbalah and the son of chicken Kabbalah give you exercises, meditations, self-initiations. there are things to do with the Kabbalah besides just argue on Facebook with other Kabbalists. So this morning I'm just going to basically read. Anita was kind enough to ask me to pen a little preface for her book, and if you already have this, I also have included my preface to Anita's book in my collection of forwards that the good folks at Weiser were kind enough to publish as Allow Me to Introduce. I am shamelessly self-promoting this morning. But anyway, where am I? Oh, by the way, tomorrow when I talk about this, I'm also going to talk about the foundations of Christianity. Never mind. That's for tomorrow, for Sunday school. Here is a portion of my preface to Anita's book, The Kabbalah Workbook for Magicians. And this is about 3 or 4 pages. No, it's 3 pages into my so I'm not going to read the whole thing. My introduction to the Kabbalah was the indirect result of my youthful involvement in the Rosicrucian order Amorc. Now I'm going to digress here. Amorc, ancient and mystical order Rosicrucis, an international fraternal organization founded in 1915 by advertising executive Harvey Spencer Lewis and others. Yeah, H. Spencer Lewis was an ad man, a madman. He coined the phrase, "See America first." The guy was a brilliant ad man. And you could sort of see it at work in his shameless self-promotion of Amorc. But anyway, I'll dedicate a whole morning sometime to Amorc. But I was a proud member, and I am grateful for my Amorc experience. Let me say that. Encouraged by my older brother Mark, I joined the order Amorc in the early 1970s, in hopes it would give me something spiritual and wholesome to occupy my nervous energy as I transitioned from the recording artist's life of sex, drugs, and rock and roll to the docility of a domesticated husband and father. Amorc's monographs, teachings, were delivered promptly each week by mail. They were an offbeat combination of solitary ritual meditations and junior high science and chemistry experiments. Much as I had hated school, I found the Amorc material oddly fascinating and inspiring. I was nothing short of ecstatic when I attended my first convocation service at a local lodge in Long Beach. I discovered then and there that I absolutely loved dressing up in spooky robes, intoning strange chants, and strutting around in the dark. I ascended up the degree structure of the organization. I learned that certain mystical perks could be redeemed. I was informed by a fellow member that when I reached a certain degree level, I would qualify to order and receive additional monograph instructions in certain mystical related subjects. One such extracurricular monograph was a series on the Holy Kabbalah, spelled Kabbalah, which is pretty much the normal kind of white bread way to spell Kabbalah. I impatiently awaited the time when I would be qualified to register for the teachings. I think you had to be, at the time, a 4th degree and have taken the 4th degree self-initiation and all of that. It's a pretty cool thing, okay? It's almost like modern magicians, as they progress in this mystical order or another, literally have attunement ceremonies, attunement rituals that are meant to technically, raise the vibratory level of your at least conscious potentiality. Okay. When that day finally arrived, I sent off a money order, because I didn't even have a checking account in those days. I sent off a money order for the course and eagerly awaited my initiation into the mysteries of the Holy Quabballah. 6 monographs arrived in one envelope. I read all 6 in one sitting. They contained a brief historical sketch and a bibliography, but no meditations, no rituals or exercises. Indeed, there was nothing that made any sense to me at all. In fact, most of the text was filled with dire warnings to the students about what the Kabbalah is not. I'm not exaggerating here. I cannot resist satirically paraphrasing. Now, please know this is Lon's paraphrase. Kabbalah is spelled Kabbalah. If you run across literature that spells it with only one B, it is not really Kabbalah, and you should run away from it. If you run across literature that spells it with a Q or a C, or indeed any other way other than Kabbalah, it is not real Kabbalah, and you should stop reading and run away. Kabbalah is not something that is written down, so don't expect to discover anything about it by reading stuff. Kabbalah is only passed orally from one pious Jewish man over the age of 40 but under 80 who is rich enough to have a lot of leisure time to devote to studying Kabbalah. To another Jewish man over the age of 40 but under 80 who is also rich enough to have a lot of leisure time to devote to studying Kabbalah. Kabbalah has nothing to do with the diagram called the Tree of Life. If you see a tree of life, run away. Kabbalah has nothing to do with tarot cards. If you see tarot cards, run away. Kabbalah has nothing to do with magic. If you see anything to do with magic, run away. Kabbalah is the secret esoteric hidden forbidden, furtive, and most likely dangerous study of the Holy Bible, and it is certainly not for presumptuous young dilettantes like you. In fact, you should be embarrassed for even being curious as to what Kabbalah might be about. Thank you for waiting 2 years for these monographs and for sending $15. Now, run away. That was 1972. Things have changed in the world of Kabbalah. Kabbalah and Kabbalah. Kabbalah is everywhere. Books, lessons, teachings, organizations, even videos, movies, and CDs can be purchased, attended, viewed, and listened to whenever you like. What remains a rarity, however, are competent, practical instructions how to actually incorporate the fundamentals of Kabbalah into one's daily life and routine. For me, it's been a hit-and-miss comedy of errors and accidental triumphs. And perhaps that's how it should always be. But it's clear to me that the work needn't be harder on the poor student than is absolutely necessary. How can today's serious student actually begin the process of inculcating himself or herself with the virus, inoculating himself or herself with the virus of Kabbalistic thought, that divine disease can eventually incubate in the soul and hatches as illumination? How does a modern mystic go about connecting everything in the universe with everything else until there is no anything else left? In an attempt to answer those questions, I wrote a little book that I whimsically called The Chicken Kabbalah of Rabbi Lamed Ben Clifford. It was quite frankly the text I wished I could have read when I first began my Kabbalah adventure. Over the years, the book's been well received, and for the most part, I'm satisfied with my labor, that my labor has been rewarded. And then secondly, my workbook itself, the Son of Chicken Kabbalah, was written after this. I'm especially gratified that I was chosen by Miss Anita Kraft as one of the source books for her marvelous Kabbalah workbook for magicians, this book. Her work is that rarest of magical tools, an elegant, hands-on course in practical Kabbalah. It's a work that obliges you to roll up your sleeves and do things with the Kabbalah. I'm particularly thrilled because reading her book has afforded me the opportunity to witness a new generation of Kabbalistic magicians whose brilliance shines not only from the fact that she gets it, in the traditional sense, but also because she is pushing the technology forward in fresh, innovating, and exhilarating ways. I'm proud to be, in a small measure, associated with this publication. So, in closing, I'd like to leave you with the last 72 words uttered by my favorite Kabbalah teacher. And until his mysterious disappearance a few years ago, he was our family's lifelong spiritual counselor, Rabbi Lamed Ben Clifford. The dear man once told me, "Ron," he never could remember my name, "Ron, the Kabbalah is not a belief system. It's a way of looking at things. It's a way of organizing your universe so neatly that you eventually discover your own place in it." It's my sincerest wish that this little book will aid and comfort you as you organize your universe so neatly that you will eventually discover your own place in it. Bless you all. Shalom. And I leave you with the last 72 written words of Rabbi Lamed Ben Clifford. Can't say my own name. The secret of the Shem Hamforash, which is the divided name of God. See, God divides itself to put itself back together. God is undivided. God is pure potentiality and realizes nothing. God can only realize itself by becoming many and then experiencing all possibilities through the adventures of its many parts. The ultimate purpose for my existence is to exhaust my individual potentiality. My love of God and God's love of me springs from a great secret we share. The secret is God and I will achieve supreme enlightenment at the same moment. And that's it for Saturday morning cartoons. Sunday school tomorrow. Let's get blasphemous. Until then, continue to be good to yourself, be good to each other. Have a great weekend, everyone. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love and do well.